Shalini appeared in jeans and t-shirt. There was an immediate shocked silence as she appeared before all. Shalini's parents sensed a revolt and suspected that she was trying to put them down publicly, while the boys' parents were affronted with the idea that this match was against her wishes and that she may be having affections for someone else. The silence was deafening. Shalini, as usual, oblivious to the consternation and disapproval she had caused, set about being the perfect hostess, offering the visiting parents the usual dainties that grace such occasions, and because the silence stretched on, made a casual remark about the weather having changed and went over to the air conditioner to turn down the temperature in an already chilly atmosphere. The visiting eligible groom, however, was intrigued by Shalini and made an effort to rescue the frayed edges of collective nerves by helping himself to some tea on the table. He then got everyone involved in pleasantries and smiled in assurance at Shalini's responses to his mother's queries. After an appropriate time, he then asked permission that he and Shalini adjourn to the terrace garden alongside the room in order to be better acquainted with Shalini, away from the conversation of stilted and guarded queries and replies that the parents were fencing each other with. "I'm Karan," he smiled deprecatingly, "and I know you're Shalini, and I like your casual simplicity more than everything else about you." He had a leisurely stride and a calming presence. This was the best part of him that she liked, and from there started what in the coming days was a blissful blur. They had exchanged telephone contact numbers, and he kept phoning and arranging small things they could do together over the next 3 months. They window shopped in malls, watched films, walked in the park, or chatted in a coffee shop, all after office hours for both of them. It had been decided that after a period of such safe and non-committal getting to know each other, they would let the parents know if they still really liked each other well enough to consider getting married. All too soon it seemed that time had flown and it was time to let their parents know. But Shalini wanted more time and more knowledge of Karan before giving her all-important answer, "Yes, this is the person I wish to spend the rest of my life with." She told her mother how she felt, and mother in turn told father, and he in turn told Karan's parents. Karan stopped phoning. 2 days went by and no call. Surely he had received her request to increase the time of getting to know each other, and of course he would agree. 2 more days and Shalini checked with her father, just in case he may not have given the message properly. Dad, in a rather matter-of-fact manner, replied, "Sugar, the guy does not seem to be interested. Leave it." Shalini could not believe it. Karan had been very supportive of all her views so far, and she had been sure that a request for more time would be received with equal enthusiasm from his side. Instead, this freeze-over of calls was not good. She still wanted to be with him, hearing his voice, his shoulder brushing against hers while walking, the way he had of throwing back his head and laughing, how he gazed off into the distance while reminiscing about his childhood, how he focused on her only when he was talking. It made her feel special, how his aftershave smelt, wafting on the breeze, walking beside her. Listening to the things he said, it had felt so familiar, as if she had known him in a previous life. Twin souls sharing glimpses of their past in the present moments. Shalini reached for her mobile and dialed his number, a slight smile on her face. Now she would hear his voice and things would be back to normal between them. Only to hear the recorded message, "Please stay on the line or call back later." She waited and after a reasonable pause dialed again to find calls diverted, and after a few rings it rang off. That night, Shalini could not sleep. Surely by now he had seen her call and deliberately did not call back. He had then placed his calls on divert. In her young life, she had never given room for anyone to occupy her thoughts, nor had she met anyone special enough to allow them the power to attract or distract her. And now, in all good faith, at her parents' bidding, she had agreed to meet this person and to try and find out if she wished to spend the rest of her life with him. She had maintained all the parameters of psychical distance from him as was appropriate, and only just because she wished for more time to get to know him, he was being so irrational. To be continued.